Hi, my name is Bree Cower. I'm a registered nurse and psychiatric mental health board certified. Today is May 20th, 2021, and this is for nursing 7352, and this is regarding Freud versus Adler's theory. So what are some major areas of contrast between Freud and Adler's theory? So Freud viewed people as being fixed by their early experiences, and Adler believed that every child is born with the need to belong and with the ability to connect with others. Adler also believed people could change through social learning. Freud talked about sexual and aggressive drives that are powerful determinants of why people act as they do, and Adler talked about humans are motivated primarily by social relatedness rather than sexual urges. Behavior is purposeful and goal-directed and conscious more than unconscious. Freud discussed how the personality consists of three systems: the id, the ego, and the superego, and Adler discussed the inferiority complex, where it motivates people or us to strive for mastery, which is superiority and completion. Freud discussed life and how its instincts serve the purpose of the survival of the individual and the human race. They are oriented toward growth, development, and creativity. And with Adler, he described our perceptions regarding self, others, and the world. And in the characteristics, we think, we act, we feel, perceive, and live. According to Freud, our behavior is determined by irrational forces, unconscious motivations, and biological and instinctual drives as these evolve through key psychosexual stages in the first 6 years of life. Adler said that we had universal life tasks such as building friendships, establishing intimacy, and contributing to society. Freud had the different psychosexual stages such as oral, anal, and phallic stages, and he also had discussed ego defense mechanisms. And Adler identified 5 psychological positions or vantage points when you're children and the ways you view life. They're the oldest, the second oldest, the only child, and your birth order is a deterministic concept that determines how you view life. So as I am more familiar with Freud's theory after I repetitively learned the concepts over several years, Adler's theory to me seems more universal, and I can relate to the feelings of belonging and social learning. Adler's theory teaches people that they can control their own fate, and the emphasis of this theory focuses on personality, birth order, individual life choices, and social interests. So when you look at Adler's life experiences and the development of his theory, what do you conclude? So Adler's early childhood experiences had an impact on the formation of his theory. Adler was sick as a child and had to overcome adversity. He was also extremely jealous of Sigmund Freud. Adler decided to shape his own life rather than leaving it to fate. And so he developed the inferiority complex, which inferiority is an erroneous belief of an individual that they are unable to cope with some aspect of their life because of real or imagined physical or psychological deficiencies, feelings of depression, and a cessation of coping efforts in that area. From childhood, people work toward overcoming this inferiority by striving for superiority. An example is you may feel inferior because you feel short, and you may overcompensate by trying to make yourself look taller or appear taller. If this is something that's extreme, it can be a form of neurosis, and it may also cause an individual to be prone to flashy outward displays with behaviors ranging from attention seeking to excessive competitiveness and aggression to compensate for their either real or imagined deficiencies. So what are some ways that the Adlerian approach can be applied to group counseling, and what are some advantages for using a group format within this approach? So to be able to start a meaningful session within a group, it is essential to determine what makes each one of the groups inferior. This will be our basis in helping us see in perspective the situations the clients were involved in. Adler's principles are more common in figuring our solutions for the social problems and to assist clients to understand even their own selves. Group therapy can help us track down each experience of the specified feeling. People within the circle should understand that since being inferior is uncommon, it is then not a sign of weakness or abnormality. Each person is born with a great tendency to depend on adults, and as one grows old, he may like to bring back equilibrium of his life through compensation. He continually grows, resulting from his attempts to go away from his imagined or real inferiorities through effort and practice or by developing abilities. The advantages to using the group therapy approach shows that it's very adaptive and can be used with almost anyone at any time. Adlerian therapy is flexible. It highlights feelings of anxiety and inferiority, which can be explored through many different styles of therapy, such as play, art, and talk therapies. It can also be used in group and couples therapy scenarios. This in turn makes Adlerian therapy appropriate for any age group. So here is examples of using the Adlerian approach in a group. So one is to identify their inferior thoughts. So when you're in a group setting, you can encourage each one from the group to comment on things that make them feel inferior. It would be more in depth when during the sharing, the group would cite a brief example. So then once they find that thing that makes them feel inferior, and then help them find an example, so that way they'll understand the concept. Next is family constellation, and this is a group activity, and it's facilitated to encourage everyone to participate and to have equal chance for everyone for their situation to be evaluated by the group. So basically they'll be talking, they'll give every person an individual chance to talk about their situation and how it relates to others. And so then throughout the session, you would lead the group to think and relate not to their situation, but of others. Not to their individual situation, but others. So what concepts from the psychoanalytic approach do you see as being potentially useful in your work as a therapist, and why? Childhood events and unconscious feelings, thoughts, and motivations play a role in mental illness and adaptive behaviors. The psychoanalytic approach is useful in helping patients better understand the unconscious and conscious forces that can play a role in their current behaviors, thoughts, and emotions. In practice, I will look for patterns and significant events that may play a role in the client's current difficulties. The therapist's role is to unfold the individual's creative special methods and to encourage the person to use these constructively. And why do I want to do it? Because it has been shown to be effective in symptom reduction. These are my sources, and you have a great day.